Hello there, and welcome to today's first webinar of our Digital Threads series. My name is Megan Day. I'm Director of Client Engagements here at GoSaaS, as well as today's event moderator. Today's session will cover elevate your product quality, customer service, and product development functions by integrating your CRM, PLM, and QMS. You'll be seeing more webinars, events, and blogs as part of this Digital Threads series. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items. Today's session is currently being recorded, and you're in listen-only mode. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to go ahead and type them in the questions tab. We'll answer your questions at the end of the presentation. Today's presenters include Tom Nelson, who is our PLM SME, and Saeed Ahmed, who is our CRM Principal Consultant. Both Tom and Saeed have multiple decades of industry experience within these respective practices. So if you aren't already familiar with GoSaaS, we are perfectly aligned for your digital project. We have a high project and customer satisfaction rate, and we have a purpose-built methodology geared towards both the manufacturing and life science industries. We have more than 250 clients and about 75 employees. We have a deep platform understanding and access, so we have immediate access to the right people when needed. In addition, we have productized digital use cases, which provide faster solutions. So thanks again for joining us today, and I'll go ahead and hand things over to Tom.
So good morning, everybody. So first, we're going to just quickly cover the evolution of PLM. A lot of you have been involved in the PLM world for many years. So earlier on in the 90s, PLM 1.0 essentially started out as CAD and document management. It progressed into item, BOM, change, project management, and compliance. Most recently, we're in PLM 3.0, where you've got innovation, commercialization, and the supply chain management product record. And currently, we're in PLM 4.0, which is the digitally connected PLM. So this is taking into account the voice of the product and the customer, social monitoring, machine learning, AI, advanced analytics, and IoT. And what we're going to be talking about today, of course, is managing the digital thread for real-time digital business processes. So drilling down a bit more into this, the digitally connected enterprise for 4.0, you can see from the left to the right, we've got, the digital innovation to launch, lead to cash for the digital age, digital supply chain, and that's, bringing in like asset monitoring, remote diagnostics, product production monitoring, a fully connected smart factory where you can do your real-time analytics, shipping and logistics, so you can do your fleet monitoring, and you can get into predictive models, as well as the connected digital service, digital field service. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. So the idea here is you don't have all these information silos that many companies have grown up with over the years. What we're looking at for the 4.0 is everything's digitally connected. So the enterprise, everybody in the enterprise is aware of everybody else. The communications are there, the data is there almost instantaneously, and everybody's looking at the same information at the same time. So you don't have, for instance, showing up to a meeting where everybody's got a different revision of the same documents or the same data. Everything's there at their fingertips. Okay, so our translation of the digital thread and PLM 4.0 into some actionable ideas, nice and simple. First, connect together the disparate business functions by taking a holistic end-to-end approach. That's basically the slide that I just showed you. Breaking down the information silos through technology enablers like real-time integration, which is what we'll be showing you today. And then definitely stop thinking in terms of IT systems and applications. The idea is you don't go to this application to grab a certain kind of information and then another application to grab other information. It's one big enterprise story. That's the beauty of it. Okay, so the digital thread use case is connected service. So what we've typically had is service and quality islands, and these are the two focuses we'll be talking about today. So you've got a service case, you've got customers and field service, support center, knowledge bases, customer support, case management, and closure. And that's been in its own world, its own silo. And then quality notifications, quality, reliability, manufacturing, supplier, problem resolutions, cross-functional root cause analysis, that's been its own silo. So what we're doing is we're removing that wall and making these two entities talk to one another. They are part of the same hub. They'll share data. They can communicate back and forth real time and so on. So this is how we're going to get to the digital and the connected service between these two focus points. Okay, so we're going to go through a couple case studies here. The first case study is the customer has an issue with the computer screen flickering. So what we're going to do is we've got the customer interface. So the customer has an issue. They report it on the website. They can pick up the phone and report it. There's lots of ways to get it in, but in this case, they report it on the website. A case is created in customer service app. The customer service rep responds with a possible fix. The customer comes back and reports the issue is not resolved, so they can report it on the website or again pick up the phone. A CSR requests additional information from the customer, puts that information into the system, and then the CSR examines it and says, okay, it's time to go to the next level. So they initiate a quality issue. And then finally, as we go through the process, there's customer updates. Okay, so once the quality issue is initiated, what we're going to do is we actually have a problem report that gets automatically created in the quality system. So the problem reports, it gets opened, quality group gets notified automatically. They come in and review the data. In this case, they're going to request an RMA. They're going to issue the RMA, and that information can be reported right back to the customer. Going to update the customer, the CS status, and then we're going to wait for the RMA to be received, waiting for the return. And finally, at the end, we'll close out the problem report, but we've got more things to do first. Okay, once we receive the RMA, we're going to go through inventory management. We have to log it in. We have to make sure it's okay. We're going to go through a receiving inspection to make sure that the part and the product wasn't damaged during shipping. And we're going to update the status back to the customer, letting them know that this has been received and we are working on it. We're going to go to the next step. The next step is a customer corrective action. And this is basically, we're going to do an analysis. And in this case, we're going to do just a basic repair of the product. We're going to let the customer know what's going on. We've repaired it. And then we're going to return it to the customer. Again, going through inventory management and all the rest of the details. In addition to this, we want the rest of the organization to be involved in this. So what we're going to do is the person that's been doing this analysis is saying, hey, I think I've seen this before. They're actually going to go in and they're going to capture the idea of possible fixes for future releases. So again, it's not siloed. We're getting quality, customer service, engineering, operations, inventory management. All of those different functions are included in this entire process. So what we're going to do when we capture the idea, we're actually going to go into the innovation management and capture that idea, put it in and start ranking it and working it into the next release. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move into the demo, and I'm going to turn this over to Saeed.
Thanks, Tom. So the first case study that we are going to talk about is something that we did for a consumer electronics company. Similar to the process that Tom just explained, that's how we intake customer issues, which goes through your service applications or service cloud. And once CSR, they try to fix the issues with whatever information and knowledge they have. And in case that issue is not fixed, how they will escalate that issue to quality for further investigation and downstream processes. So as part of this demo, I will be playing two different roles. Right now, if you look at this screen, I'm logged in as a customer in a self-service portal. So I'm Eric, and I'm customer of this company called Digital Life. On this portal, I have a couple of information available to help me in support processes. So in the second tab, let's say, I can see all cases that I have recently opened with Digital Life. On second tab, I see all the assets that I own. So in this case, I have a laptop, and that is a laptop that I have registered on this website, and now there may be an issue with that machine that I will go through how to open a case. And other than that, we have a knowledge base where we see all knowledge articles categorized by different areas, whether it's related to displays or consumer devices. And finally, we have an option to register a new device. Okay, so to go through this process, let's assume that as a customer, I have issue with my laptop. I restarted that laptop today, and after restart, display started having flickering issues. So what I will do as a customer is I go to this site, and I'm going to open a new case. Okay, so I can leave a description blank for now. Here I can select all products that I own. In this case, I have my laptop available here, so I will just select that laptop. Then I have some additional fields available in case there is some error code or error message that I want to provide to customer support. I have a sample field here for Wi-Fi signal. In this case, I would select that I have a strong Wi-Fi signal. Then case reason, in this case, it is a breakdown. Here I can select contact. This may be useful in B2B scenarios where you may have multiple contacts which you would like to provide further information on a given case. Okay, so I can leave rest of the fields blank, and I'm going to submit it. So as soon as I submit this case, I see a case number here, which is 1127. I have few additional options available here. I can create case comment that can be used as a communication channel between customers and customer support. I also have attachments here. So in this case, I will just upload a sample attachment in case I want to share some, let's say, screenshot or any additional information. So I will just select one sample file here. Okay, so that's all that I will do as a customer. And now I will switch to a different tab. And now I will wear a hat of a customer service agent. So as a customer service agent, when I go to this screen, I see all open cases. I can see that the latest case, which was just submitted by customer, is on the top, which is 1127. So I open this case. On this screen, I have a lot of supporting information for customer service organization. I can see a case detail on top left corner. I see contact detail. Then I see all previous cases submitted by this customer. On the right side, There are two tabs which are of interest. So first is Knowledge tab. Based on information which is provided in this case, system is recommending me some knowledge articles which may be used to resolve this issue. Similarly, I can see a product which is affected by this issue. So this is the same product which was selected by a customer while creating this case. I also see attachment which was submitted by customer. And on details screen, I have all of those fields available which are either submitted by customer or some additional fields which are available for only customer service organization. So as a first step, as Tom said, that first as an agent, I will go ahead and maybe suggest an article that, so the second article seems more relevant, which is how to restart laptop with display issues. So I will go ahead and attach this article with this case, and then I will create a comment for customer to try these steps. So what I will say here is, please follow instructions in attached article. I'm going to make this a public comment so that customer can see it. So what will happen is customer will receive an email notification, and based on that, if customer goes back to this screen and you just refresh it, we will see that there is a comment which was created by customer service agent. In this case, it is Mark. So I was wearing a hat of Mark. And then I also see an article which is attached to this case. So I go ahead and click on this article and follow steps which were given in this article. So this is just a sample article. And once I'm done with this, I feel that my issue is not resolved. So I go back and provide a comment here for customer service agent to look into this issue for further analysis. So as a customer, I say issue is not resolved after following article. Okay, so I can just leave other fields as blank. So customer service agent will again receive a notification that case is back in a customer service agent's queue. And I can see that there is a new comment here, which is submitted by Eric. At this point in time, as an agent, I decide that, okay, this is something beyond my expertise. So I need to escalate this issue to quality. So what I will do is, I have an option available on this screen, send to quality. So I will just provide some comment here. Please investigate this display issue. Okay. So once I click next, what will happen is integration will kick in, and that will submit this case to quality system with all supporting information, which is affected product, attachments, and all of those attributes that we have available on this case. So if I go ahead and look at details for this case and just refresh my screen, okay, so in this quality assessment section, I can see that there is issue number populated here, which is issue 241. This is issue number in our QMS system. So with that, I will hand it over back to Tom so that Tom can go through downstream processes in QMS system and other areas which we talked about in business process a few minutes back. Okay, Tom, over to you.
Thanks, Saeed. So I'm going to pop over into the Oracle Cloud, and I'm going to go into quality. Now, what has actually happened is I've received an email notification that I've got a new case that I need to go in and look at. So I'm going to go ahead and go into quality management here. I've got my infolets here that gives me a summary of everything, and over here I've got recent activity. I've got 16 quality issues that I need to pay attention to. So I'm just going to click on that, and I can see right at the top of my list over here is that new issue, issue 241. It's got some summary information in here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the issue. And I begin to see all the information related to it. So I can see, you know, the name of it. This is a customer problem report. The CSR comments that came from the CS system. Please investigate this display issue. I can go in and look at various items, and for instance, I can come over here to the attachments tab, and there's that sample file that the customer supplied. So I've got instant access to that information. If I come up and look at the affected objects, here's the laptop. So I'm tied into the product itself, so I can get into design information if required. I can access whatever I need. So I'm going to go ahead and review the data that was supplied, look at the sample, get back to my general info, and I've made the decision, okay, I've got a place where I can put in comments. The disposition is I'm going to do an RMA. So I can put in various comments and go ahead and click my save. Now what's happening is all of this information is being sent back to the customer service representative, so they can see what's going on within the factory, within the business, and keep track of everything. And this is all happening basically real time. So the customer support end of this, you know, it's sped up compared to what it used to be. It used to be, it might be a day every time a message had to go back and forth. Now it's literally seconds. So you can be working with the customer almost real time. So at this point, I'm going to hand it back to Saeed. He's going to jump back into the CS system and show you the information that's flowing.
Okay, so if I switch to my other screen, which is agent experience, and before I refresh this screen, you can see that case status is quality. So that means this case has been submitted to quality team for investigation. And this disposition and disposition comments, these fields are blank right now because I did not refresh my screen. So once I refresh it, I should be able to see, you know, a response from quality team. Here it is. So I see disposition comments, and quality comments. So based on that, I can communicate with customer since it is, you know, we have RMA. So what I'm going to do is I will create a comment for customer to ship, you know, that laptop at a given address so that we can do further investigation. So please ship laptop at given address. So what will happen is, again, customer will receive an email notification with all the supporting information, and they will send that laptop back to Digital Life for further investigation. Okay, Tom, so you can take that process forward now.
Okay. So what's going to happen is we're now in the process of waiting for the return. If you remember the flow chart, the problem report flow chart I showed you, we're now in the RMA received part of the system. So we'll jump ahead. The product has now been received back. It gets logged in inventory management. So what we're going to do now, we'll start the analysis. We'll say we've gone through, we've analyzed it, we found a problem with a connector or a cable. So we're going to go ahead and replace the component, put that into the disposition, and save it. That way the message goes back. We're going to go ahead and repair it. And this, this takes time for the analysis, the repair, everything else, the packaging. But as soon as I click this and hit save, the message has gone back. So customer service can be working with the customer. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rework everything to the specification. I'm going to do an update. I'm going to replace the component, and then I'm going to return the product back to the customer. So as I do all of this, so I can get these comments, again, keeping everything going real time. And I can send this back to Saeed so he can show you the page update, show you the comment update down here. So the disposition has been replaced component, and now we're returning to the customer.
Right, so if I refresh my case screen as a customer service agent, I should be able to see latest comments from quality. So here I see disposition comments, customer product has been corrected and returned. So the point here is that both a quality team and customer service team, they can work seamlessly on resolving these issues without manually creating data into different systems. System itself will take care of communicating information back and forth between service organization and quality organization. So based on this information, I will go ahead and update customer that issue has been resolved, and hopefully my customer Eric will be happy.
Okay, and then to complete the process, again, if you remember the workflow, we've taken care of the customer, but we want to make sure the rest of the enterprise knows what's going on. So what I'm going to do, I'm coming back into the cloud. I'm coming into the management of the ideas, and I can see I've got infolets where I can come in and review a lot of the things that are going on. In this case, I just simply want to post a new idea to get it into the list, and the idea is nice and simple. Okay, I don't need to do any more than that. It's now entered into the system, and it's now available for instance, design engineering to begin looking at. If they're getting ready to do a new release of the product, they can go in and look at all the ideas that have been entered since the last release, take that into account, start gathering requirements and put it into the process. And this idea can now become part of the new product release. So that is where we've captured the information, we've taken care of external customers, internal customers, and we just come back and we close out the problem report. We close out the case. This one is now complete. So in this case, you've seen an example where everything's happening real time because communications are going on real time. Hopefully the customer is delighted with this. And then we're taking care of the future, as well as capturing information and making it available all at the rest of the enterprise's fingertips, so they don't have to go to multiple places to be looking at things. Okay, so that's the first use case. I'm going to come back in here. We're going to look at a slightly different use case. In this case, I've got a medical device company. They have diagnostic equipment in hospitals, and they have an issue with machine warm-up taking too long. So again, we're going to go through a very similar experience up here at the top. The customer's going to report the problem. We're going to go through possible fixes, capture information, create a quality issue in the system. And this time we're going to go through a CAPA process, a full CAPA process. And the various steps are, as we come in and look at this, first, we have to make sure that this isn't a systemic problem and it's causing lots of other problems before going out there. So we may have to do a deviation or a stop ship on products in WIP. Next, we're going to get into a detailed root cause analysis. Once we determine the root cause, we're going to identify the corrective actions, and then we're going to implement corrective actions. And in this case, we're going to have field service involved with this, because they're going to go out and fix this customer's problem. Plus, they're going to proactively go out and upgrade other equipment that's already in the field. So before other customers have a chance to call in and have a complaint or an issue, we're just going to go ahead and fix the problem. And as part of this, we've identified, real time, we're going to take care of the items in the field, and we're going to go through a change process, an official change process, to correct the problem and make sure that everything that's manufactured from this point forward is under control. Okay, so given that, we will jump into the next demo, and I'll turn it over to Saeed again.
Thanks, Tom. So I'm going to switch to my agent experience again. And in this case, this is something that we did for a medical device company. Again, a lot of these use cases that we are demoing today are based on the actual projects that we have done. So in this specific case, if you look at statistics in medical device industry, whenever there is an issue, let's say with a large complex equipment installed in hospitals, customers will typically call in. They want to talk to some human to record that issue and take care of fixing this issue. So instead of customer going to self-service portal and creating an issue that we saw in case of consumer electronics use case, in this case, customer will call, and service agent, in this case Mark, that's me, is going to create a case. So I receive a call, I go ahead and create a new case here. I'm going to select contact, in this case Eric, and then I have some default values here. So I will enter the description for this case, which is CT scan machine takes too long to warm up. Okay, so I categorize it as a performance issue. This happened in West Coast. And then again, I will just provide error code just for demo purpose, which is 101. I will say network bandwidth issue. Assuming it's a digital machine, so Wi-Fi signal is strong, patient impact is high, because as a customer, I cannot run procedures at the speed that I want. Okay, so with this information, I'm going to create a case, and then I will attach affected products here. In this case, I'm going to select a new affected product, which is CT scan DT40. I will just give it a random name. And some of the fields that I have over here is like serial number and quantity. I will just put a default value here. Okay, so I create an affected product. I will upload some attachments in case I have that information available. And at this moment, once I have affected product and attachment, although I see some knowledge articles here, but based on my experience, I decide to send this issue to quality so that they can look at this issue further. So again, I will go to send to quality tab and provide some comments. Please investigate this warm-up issue. Okay. So again, what will happen is my customer service system or service cloud will communicate with quality system to create this issue and provide all supporting information like affected products and attachments so that quality team can further investigate this issue. If I go ahead and look at the detailed screen and refresh it, I should be able to see issue number, which is assigned in QMS. Okay, so here I have issue 242. So this is the next issue number, which is created in QMS system and with all the supporting information. So Tom, you can take it from here and go through the subsequent process.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to come back into quality, go back to my overview tab. I've now got a notification. Let me hit my refresh here. You can see my activity's been updated to 17 now. So I'll go ahead and click on that. Here's that issue 242. I can come back and open it up, and I can see immediately what's going on. I can go to the attachments tab. And I've got the sample file that was uploaded. Come back here. So I've got my general information. So I'm going to go ahead and start my investigation, but this is a big deal. So what I'm going to do is go to my relationships here, and I'm going to add my kappa. Sorry, didn't hit the button I was planning to hit. So in this case, I've got a kappa that I had already started. I'm going to relate that kappa back into the system as soon as I hit the right buttons. There we go. So I can now see in the system, I've got my problem report, the customer problem report. It's linked directly to the kappa. I can open up the kappa now and begin following it through its process. If I look at the workflow, I can go through the full 8D, in this case, a full 8D kappa process. And for each of the statuses, for instance, containment. From containment, I can go ahead and launch a formal deviation and stop ship if I find that that's warranted. I can also, the next step is I can launch a root cause analysis. So in this case, I can jump in, I generate another object in the system, another workflow that's going to take me through the steps, the pending, in process. When I gather all the information, it's complete. The system will be related to that. It's going to come back, and I now can share that information, the findings, with the group that's part of the team evaluating all of this. So I've completed my root cause analysis. Now I'm going to go out, identify the corrective actions. So I can capture the information. If I come out to details, for instance, I can put the full dispositions out here, the full descriptions. If I've got photographs, whatever information is is pertinent, I can capture it and put it in these attributes. And I can apply my own attributes to the system as well. But I'm just going to capture what's available, put it in here so I can feed the information to the next step in the workflow. So we've identified the corrective actions. In this case, there's a problem with the power supply. We need to upgrade the power supply. As I'm going through, the next one is implement the corrective actions. So from the implementation part here, this is where I can take two different routes, and I can do these in parallel. One of them is I'm going to notify field service. Field service representatives are part of the CAPA process. So they've been involved, they understand, they've seen what the root cause is, they've seen the identification of the corrective actions out here as part of the workflow. And now they're tasked with going out along with the operations people. So operations has to provide the correct power supply, and field service has to do scheduling with the customer and so on, so they can go out and do the modifications to the customer equipment. In parallel with that, we're going to go ahead and generate and relate a change order, an engineering change order to this that's going to change the structure, the bill of materials for the product, and put in the new power supply so that all WIP, if it hasn't been done yet, it gets the new power supply. If there's inventory, it will be reworked and the new power supply will be added in there, so that everything going out the door from this point forward has got the new power supply, and that particular warm-up issue should be taken care of. And of course, we're going to come back to the quality system. We're still in the quality system. We're going to come back to that problem report that had been generated. We'll update its information. Put all the comments into it. I'll save it, send all that information back to customer support. Now, customer support, of course, has been talking to the customer. Field service has been talking to the customer. So the customer's been involved with this process at many steps throughout the process, all the way through. And then here's what we're doing to kind of work out the details and finalize this particular issue. So at this point, I can turn it back to Saeed, and he can show what the final status is.
Thanks, Tom. So again, if I switch to my agent experience and refresh my screen, I should be able to see a response from quality team. So in this case, it is case number 1128. Status has been changed from quality back to working. That indicates that now this issue is in customer service team's queue. So I can see latest comments from quality team, and based on that, I can communicate with a customer or communicate with field service team to fix this issue for this specific device. In the interest of time, we will not go into that detail that how service agent will work with a field service team. That is something that we would like to cover in a follow-up webinar. So the last point that I would like to make here is, let me just switch to slides. So I would like to conclude today's session by linking these case studies with the digital thread concept that we mentioned in the beginning. So this is how we at GoSaaS are translating that digital thread vision into actionable solutions or workable solutions by connecting different systems. Today we talked about connected service, where customer service can work with quality team. In the future we will talk about some other use cases as well and see how you can realize a digital thread vision into actual systems. With the connected service, if I look at some key benefits, you can see that it helps voice of customer making its way to product development. So whether it's issues, feedback, or any comments from customers, they flow from your customer service organization into quality system and product development and design. So this will help product development team to look at those ideas, those feedback in real time and make some adjustments accordingly. This also helps to resolve these problems in a connected experience, minimizing manual effort by reducing duplicate data entries. This will make customer service successful as well as quality team successful, so that they can focus on the actual work that they have to do instead of repeatedly entering data and requesting information back and forth. One thing that I would like to highlight that for digital thread, it doesn't mean whether you are on-prem or on cloud. The way we look at it is it's a connected experience. You can connect with one system, whether it's on-prem or in cloud, with other systems which may be either on-prem or in the cloud or some hybrid kind of solutions. So the idea here is that you connect your system so that they can talk to each other and help you execute your business processes as efficiently as possible. So with that, I would conclude today's session and hand it over to Megan to see if we have any questions.
Yes, thanks, Saeed. We've had quite a few questions come through, so we'll start with those. And if you haven't had a chance to submit your questions, feel free to do so now. We have a few minutes left. The first question came through is actually geared to Tom. Tom, if you wouldn't mind going back and showing case study 1 flowchart again, that would be great, and walking through that. That's the question that came through.
Okay, so basically it's pretty simple. There's the whole customer service to customer interface is this whole first block, and that's where there's a lot of handshaking with the outside world. Once the customer service rep decides this is above what they can handle with the customer, they're going to initiate the quality issue. So that comes in, a problem report's automatically generated. And then we're going to go through these steps. In this case, quality is going to review the data. Based on their review, they're going to authorize an RMA. They're going to issue the RMA to the customer. The customer gets that information, and then it's just kind of a waiting game for the product to come back. Once it comes back, inventory management operations are involved because you've got a log that you've received it. We go through a receiving inspection, which can also be done in the cloud. There's a full inspection process that's available. We're going to update the customer that it's received, everything's okay, we're going to the next step. We go to the next step, which is essentially a review, analysis of what's going on, and then a corrective action, if you will. They're going to fix the product and then send it back to the customer, update the customer status so they know what's going on. So at this point, the customer's pretty much done. But we want to make sure that we capture this information and it becomes useful for future products. So we capture the idea, the definition of it. We capture that down here in the the ideation part of innovation management, if you will, so that it becomes part of the record and can be reviewed the next time engineering, for instance, is getting ready to roll the design. Now, this can be triggered different ways, and you can have different reactions. It may be if something's serious, you get design engineering involved in it right away. Maybe they go ahead and do a design change, submit a change order, and go through the process. In this case, this was deemed to be fairly minor, so they just captured the idea for future reference. Okay.
Thanks for that, Tom. All right, next question comes from another Tom. What is the underlying application or multiple applications to these web pages?
So I would like to answer that question. So it really depends what platform you're using. In our demo, we have a service cloud, which enables to develop a customer self-service portal with a lot of out-of-the-box capabilities. So for agent experience, again, we have a customer service application. On the quality side, we had Oracle Cloud with all the modules for product development, quality management, and other related functions. So it's mostly coming from Service Cloud and Oracle Cloud.
Great. Thanks, Saeed. Next question. It seems like if we get a financial flow in this system, it would be a perfect system. Is there anything that covers the financial activities?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Saeed. Yeah, so the answer is if you're going with the Oracle Cloud, the financials can be built right into the system. So that can be tracked. You can do the financials, again, inventory management. The ERP system is connected in there. If you need to, if it's a bigger problem, you even have program management that's part of the solution. So you've literally got pretty much anything you can probably think of as far as other processes that need to be involved in here. They're all available through the Oracle Cloud.
Thanks for that. Next question is from Joe. Can you please comment on how real-time this integration is?
So this integration that we demoed today, it is almost real-time. This is a very tricky design decision that how you should implement integration in these scenarios where you may have multiple records being synced between multiple systems. So you can argue with various approaches whether it should be exactly real-time or near real-time, or maybe there should be some lag. So there are pros and cons for each approach, but for today's demo, we have, I would say, a near real-time integration.
All right. Thanks, Saeed. Next question is for Tom. We have on-premise Agile PLM. Can we create a similar experience as well?
Yeah, that can be done. Just realize that if you're using Agile PLM, you may not have the financials and some of the inventory management unless you've got other integrations. But Agile has got the quality issues, problem reports, CAPAs, all of that. So an integration can be set up to use that as well with your customer service.
Thanks for that. Next question is for Saeed. What other CRMs are supported?
So it really depends what CRM you are using. As far as solution is concerned, it could be any CRM which supports APIs for case creation and updation. The way we are approaching it as a connected service is that it is API-based integration. As long as your CRM or other system that you are using supports APIs, it should be possible to implement it.
And if I can add to that, part of today's webinar was not just to demonstrate our integration that we have in place. It's to take you to PLM 4.0 and give you the mindscape that there's no reason to have all these silos anymore. Everything should be connected. moving forward. So it's independent of the CRM, even the PLM that you're using. It's just the idea of moving to that landscape where everything is tied together automatically.
Great.
Thanks, Megan.
Thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for that, Tom. Last question comes from Karen. Can chat or other channels be used to create a case and integrate with QMS?
Yes, it really depends what channel you are using to communicate with your customers. As long as there is some mechanism to capture those cases in your service cloud, downstream process should be the same. So to answer this question specifically, yes. So as long as case is captured in the system, downstream integration should work as it is.
All right, thanks, Saeed. And thanks to everyone who submitted their questions. And if we didn't have a chance to answer your question, we'll be reaching out to you with the answer shortly. If you have additional questions or comments regarding what you saw today, please don't hesitate to contact us, and our direct contact details, we'll post them on the screen. Tom, if you want to go ahead and put those on the screen,
Yep.
Please. Great, thanks. And in addition, you'll be receiving an event survey in your inbox. If you fill that out for us, we'll keep in touch, and we'll also make sure you get a copy of today's slide deck and recording. And this concludes our webinar. Thank you all for attending, and I hope you have a wonderful day.